Hey guys, it's Jessica. So I have had a lot of people reaching out to me and to others in the office about Zoom and how to get it, how to use it, just kind of understanding the functions of it. So I'm going to just give you kind of a fast tutorial around all of those things. So to get to Zoom, you can just Google Zoom or you can go to zoom.us right here. And when you get here, they explain the products, they explain the plans and pricing. There is a free Zoom account that you can get that you don't have to have a paid account in order to use most of the features of Zoom, especially right now. They're giving a lot of really great features in the free account. If you needed the paid account, that would be like if you needed more than an hour, really more than 40 minutes of time to do some things. So if you pretty steadily needed an hour or more, you would definitely probably want the paid account. It's pretty inexpensive to get the basic paid account. It's like $14.99 a month plus tax. Then some of the other reasons you might want it is if you were going to have something with over 100 people. So, or up to 100 people. 100 people or less on the $14.99 account, and then you could go up from there if you had over 100. So those are just a couple of the main reasons why you might need a paid account, but those are really it. So if you would just click sign up as free, walk through the process. I'm going to actually just sign in really quick because I am already on here. Let me just sign in. And so I have a free account. And you can see they have all these messages telling me about all these new things that are happening. So as you can see, like I have a tech meeting on here that I had scheduled today. So on here in my free account, I can do 45 minutes or less. I cannot do any more than that. But most of my tech meetings are not that long. So I have a meeting that was already scheduled. So I'm going to kind of walk you through understanding the back end of everything. So once you create your account, you can click on your account up here in your account management just to kind of get in and take a look at your profile. You can add a picture. Let me get rid of all this again. You can add a picture. You can make sure that you have all of your basic information in here. That is in your profile. So you can click profile over here on the left, or you could click your picture, where it would be your initials at the top, unless you had a picture, okay? So once you put your picture in there, you'll have a little picture that will show up if you're not on camera. That's how we do it, how we get our picture on here when we're not on camera. So looking down through here, meetings, the free account is going to have meetings. The paid account is going to have webinars. You cannot do anything with webinars. I don't even think you can do webinars on the $14.99 account. So I don't think most of you will need that though. So when I click on meetings, you can see my upcoming meetings, any previous meetings that I've had. You can see my personal meeting room information, all of that right here in my meetings piece. So when I'm in here and I needed to schedule a new meeting, I would just click meetings and click schedule a new meeting if I'm doing it for another time. If I wanted to come in and just host a meeting, I'm starting a meeting right now, I would click host a meeting with video on or video off or just a screen share in order to just quickly do something. Like if somebody called me on the phone, I said, hey, let me real quick host a meeting with you. So then I would just host the meeting really fast or do a screen share. But if I was scheduling a meeting, like I scheduled this one, I would click on schedule a new meeting. And I really think this is the best way to schedule meetings for the most part is to do it ahead and not run on the fly. But you can totally do everything on the fly here too. So with this, you would just say meetings. I'm going to say sample meeting. You're going to add the description, information you want invitees to know. And then you can do the date and the time. So you have to click on the little calendar to get the calendar. So if you were doing it today or another day, like you could choose another day or you could just choose that current day. You can also select the time And then that is also when it's going to ask you how long you want it. And it reminds you your Zoom Basic has a 40-minute time limit for 3 or more participants, or 3 or less participants. So let's do this. So if you were doing a one-on-one, because you only have one other participant other than you, then your 40 minutes isn't going to kick you off. So that's just a little fun fact. Before you pay for the paid version if you're only going to be doing one-on-one meetings. So with this, you choose your day, your time. I'm actually going to choose 11 o'clock a.m. And we're just going to do this for 15 minutes. Okay. So you can come in and select that. You want to make sure you're on the right time zone. And then you can set it up as recurring. So if you were meeting on Tuesdays at 11 for 15 minutes with somebody every single week, you could set a recurring meeting. Okay, so don't check that if you're not recurring. So your meeting ID, you can generate automatically or use the same one. I like generating automatically because it lessens the ability for people to hack into your Zoom account, which is a scary but real fact that it can happen. And then meeting password. So starting maybe about a week ago, Zoom required every meeting to have a password. So you cannot uncheck this box. So every meeting will have a password. And then the next part is video. Do you want your video on? Do you want the participants to have their video on or off? You know, if you were meeting with somebody that you didn't want to see them, you just wanted to hear them, you could do that. But I think for the most part, the whole purpose of Zoom is so you can see the other person. Then meeting options. So you have some options that you want to look at. You can either enable it for people to join before you. So like if you had somebody that wanted to hop in, to the room, they could come on into the room before you. You can enable a waiting room, meaning that they can't go into the meeting before you, but they can sit in a waiting room, kind of like a purgatory. So you can do like this or that. You can do both. I don't really see the point of doing both because they're kind of two different things. I usually do a waiting room where people are kind of in purgatory until I get into the room. But I'm usually in the room early, so you don't usually have that issue with me. That's what I would recommend to you. Mute on entry. So if you're having a large group of people coming in, or you know that people are going to be like in their car trying to be on Zoom, which is crazy, but I've seen it done. You can mute on entry. So like, meaning that when they come in, there's not going to be like a whole bunch of background noise, no dogs barking, no cars, no sirens, whatever could be happening in the background. They're muted. You could then unmute them, or they can unmute themselves later, but you can have them muted on entry. And you can also have it record the meeting automatically when on the local computer, your computer, it'll record a recording that will store to your hard drive in order to kind of keep a record. I think if you're having any kind of really important conversations, you probably do need to let people know you're recording them. I think you probably want to talk to Steven about that kind of stuff. Make sure people know you're recording them. But if it's something important that needs to be recorded, record it. But don't record people without them knowing that you're recording it. By the way, there's a little record thing up in the corner. I'm going to click record on this just so that you guys can see what it looks like in the corner if you are recording. So from here, like, you can make sure all your settings are set and you'll hit save. So once you've saved that meeting, the meeting is now in my meeting box of things that are coming up. And then from here, I can actually copy this invitation. Right? I can copy this invitation. I can paste it in my calendar. I can paste it in an email. I can paste it in a text message. I can paste it anywhere. And as long as they have this link right here, this link actually has the password built in. They won't need to enter the password when they come in. The link has the password. Now, if you were in the Zoom app and you just entered the meeting ID, which is this bit right here, 746-8221-8556 for this particular meeting, they would need the password to go in. So you would need these two pieces. So if they're using the app, they would use these two things, or if they just had the link, they could click the link on any device and it'll take them straight in. And they don't even have to be logged in. It'll just take them straight to a Zoom room. Okay, so you can also, of course, then add it to your Google Calendar, Outlook Calendar, Yahoo Calendar, etc. up here. So if I had set up this meeting and I was going to get in here and get onto the meeting, I can come in and click start this meeting. If I had it in my calendar, I could just click the link like anybody else, right? Because it already knows I'm the host. But I like to come into Zoom.us, log in, come in, and click start the meeting. So I'm going to hit start the meeting. Okay. And then it's going to say, do you want to open? I do want to open, so I'm going to open Zoom. And there I am. There's me on Zoom. And you can join with your computer audio. So I'll click that. And then you can see that it is got my audio recording right here. You can see that it's recording up here in the upper corner. And your people will see that. So if you are trying to record them, they're going to know that you're recording them. So make sure that you've had conversations around that. Okay. You can pause or stop the recording. Just if you need to come back and restart the recording, don't forget to do that. Guilty. I've done that a couple times. So I definitely want to navigate you guys a little bit about what's going on around in here. Like, what are the features of Zoom? Like, what could I be doing in meetings to make me successful in Zoom? So, of course, if you go over here, you can mute yourself. You can change your output for your microphone, right? You can change that to something else. Like if I plugged in or put on my AirPods or plugged in some headphones, I would be able to select those as an option so that I can have people in here. Having people in here or a mic like this or a static mic or anything else is going to have it not be so echoey with your microphone situation, but definitely just letting you know that you can add a different microphone for yourself. So if I mute, you can see I'm muted, and in the recording, my mouth is moving, but nothing is actually happening. So the other thing you can do is the video. So I can stop my video completely, and now you see my picture and not my face. And then I can bring my video back by just clicking stop video right here, stop or start video. So this up arrow next to stop video has a couple of different things, right? So you have the ability to change your camera. So if you use different cameras, maybe you have a webcam or you have something else that you're going to use, you can have a different camera. You can also choose a virtual background. Now, here's a fun fact. You need to make sure your computer is the right kind of computer to not have a green screen behind you if you have a virtual background, or you will need a green screen behind you. You can buy a green screen that'll attach to your chair. You can buy a green screen that pops up behind you. If you're going to be doing Zoom on a pretty regular basis, you might want to invest in a really inexpensive green screen from like Amazon or something like that. But if I was going to go in and choose a virtual background, it gives me a couple of choices. I think if I turn this way, get this like this, it might. Nope, it's not going to work. Look, this is what happens to you if you do not have a green screen behind you when you're trying to do a virtual background. It's pretty crazy, isn't it? So you want to make sure that you have a green screen. We've got a green screen here that we can use as the staff, but you definitely want one if you are going to want a different background behind you. But I mean, you can see, like, it could be super distracting if I was doing Zoom and people were walking around like this right behind me right now, okay? So you can definitely do that if you want to. The other thing is you can work on your video settings. In your video settings, you can make sure that you have HD on, like you can really get it to look good. You can touch up your appearance to where you look a little less like you've been on house arrest, right? You can do those things. You can mirror your video to where it's mirrored to the way that you see yourself, right? So you can do those things. You can always display your participant names on their videos, turn off videos when joining meetings. You can do any of these things and set them up as kind of settings. And there's a lot of other settings in here that you can look at, right? So there's that virtual background we were talking about. So then the other next one here is security. You can lock the meeting. You can enable the waiting room or disable the waiting room. You can share the screen. Or you can allow your participants to share a screen, so I can click on that and it'll allow other people to share their screen with me. So maybe you're having a tech problem and we're having a Zoom meeting. I have that turned on to where you can share with me so I can see what's going on in your world. I can turn off the chat box or on the chat box. And I can have where people can either rename themselves or not. Okay, I'll show that to you in just a second. Okay, so then participants, if you click on participants, it's going to have a little pop out that pops out over here on the side. Right now you can see there's only one person on here. It's me. Next to other participants, sometimes when people come in, it'll ask you to admit them to the room. So you have to hit admit. Then the next thing is when you click more next to their name, they can edit their profile picture or they can rename themselves. So it can become very distracting if people are thinking that it's funny to come in and rename themselves something like, right? They could come in and they could rename themselves to something silly, right? So just, you might want to turn off rename themselves. Fun fact, when my kids are on Zoom for their virtual school, they are not allowed to rename themselves and they do not have a chat window because you can imagine little kid, 10-year, 11-year-old kids on there chatting and changing their names to crazy stuff. So less of an issue as an adult, but depending on the audience that you're with and the situation that you're doing, you may not want those options to be there. Okay. From here in the participants, you can also invite people. So if I hadn't had anybody in here, or I had somebody who said, hey, text me, said I can't get in, I can invite them from here. I can click invite. I can copy the URL or the invitation, and then I could just text or email it to them, or I could go straight over and open my email provider and it'll send them the information. I can mute everyone. So from here, I can mute everybody, or I can unmute everybody if I want to have a conversation. And then under more, I can, work through some of these types of things. Play or enter and exit chime, which can kind of get annoying to me. I have that turned off. Participants on entry, you can mute them. You can allow people to unmute themselves or not. Like you can turn that off to where only you can control if they're muted or not. Also, you can come up here and just mute one individual person. Like maybe you can see that the little microphone is moving next to their name, like right over there. You can kind of see that right there. And there's background noise happening, like a barking dog or something. So you can see that their microphone's moving, but their mouth isn't moving, or their video's off. You can go and mute them so that you don't have all that noise when you're having meetings. So those are some things that you can do. To get rid of this, you can click the little arrow and either pop it out from the screen or you can close it all together. Okay. So chat box. Chat box is where you can actually chat with people. You can be like, here is the link that I promised, blah, 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 and you can paste the link or a file, right? You can also, and this is not a great example because I don't have anybody in here, but you can actually click here and you can send private messages to other people that are in the meeting. Just know that if the person is recording the meeting, also keeps the transcripts for the meetings. And even if they don't record the meeting, they still have the transcripts. And the transcripts are not where, like, the private messages are not omitted. You can see all the private messages between you and others on the private messages in the chat window. So be nice. Some of you guys might be like, whoa, that's scary. So like our team meeting, for instance, if y'all have private conversations on the side with other people, our transcript shows every bit of that. So the other thing that's really important is share screen. So share screen is really, really important. You can come in and you can share the screen with somebody. So like if I'm meeting with you about, let's just say we're having a buyer consultation via Zoom. I could share my screen with you and it's going to pop up and show the different things that are here. So I would want to pick what I want. So I can select Google Chrome, and this Google Chrome that I have right here actually has the MLS. So I could be sharing with you the MLS, and we can be coming in and doing a quick search and doing everything that we needed to do. You could tell me what you're interested in, and we could run the search, and then I could email you the results, or do the share, link right here, where I can grab the permalink for the properties. So, like if I came in here, for instance, and I did, let's just do 150 to 175. So that'll be really small. So what I could do then is I can hit the share button. And if I go to the list, and we're looking at it together, just trying to come up with something that might be a real world scenario for you. And they're like, yes, I love